right, guys. This has been something that's been in the works for a long time. We're out here today at Mayhem MMA. It's in my hometown right here in Henderson, Kentucky. It's ran by Nate Maness. My best friend Maness Thurmond also fights under Nate. He's an amateur. So we're going to get in here today, check out Mayhem MMA. Still haven't been in there. And we're going to interview both of them because they both got fights coming up. Let's get after it. Oh, yeah. There's the boy. What's up, brother? I'm not gonna lie, I took the wrong turn on the way in here. What's up, Nate? I haven't seen you since Applebee's, man. Hawk Sports fans, welcome back to the channel. We're inside Mayhem MMA. We should have been here months ago. Our boy Nate, he opened it up. He's got it going. He's even moved buildings. We didn't make it to the last building, but we're here now at the new Mayhem MMA gym. He's got a fight coming up on BKFC on October 18th. We're going to that. I'm gonna go right here beside me as well. We got our boy Isaac, one of my best friends. Isaac's also competing in November 8th. He's got 1-1 amateur record. He's looking to get that a winning record though. We're joined with both of these guys today. It's an honor to be in here today, Nate. I appreciate you having me, brother. Probably should have been in here already, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta get back into shape. Nate's been on me to get in here. This man's really been on me to get in here. But we're in here for an interview today because we got both these guys with a great fight coming up. So thank you guys for joining me today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
For sure. But Nate, I just want to ask you to start off with, man, how are you and your family currently doing?
Everything's good, man. Especially when I have a fight coming up, it kind of calms me down, and I really rely on them to help me out through camp and get my food right and things like that. So I'm really happy to have the family that I do have and the support that they give me.
That's awesome, man. Love to hear that. We always start every single interview, guys, with, how you and your family are doing. That's what's most important in life. At least in my opinion, that's the best question you could ask. Isaac, I'm going to ask you the same. We're a little, around the same age now. We don't have a family like Nate does yet, but I got to ask you, man, how are you doing, brother?
Pretty good. I've just been super locked in on training and getting in shape and going pro one day, maybe beating up Nate, calling him out after my next fight.
There we go, man. You don't let him get the mic, guys. He's going to get on the mic and just call out Nate. You could see Isaac and bare knuckle. That would be absolutely insane. But he's so young, guys. He's just gotten into fighting, and we're going to continue to talk about that, how Isaac got into fighting and, how this has all come together. But Nate, you're from Morganfield, Kentucky, just down the road from here. So, whenever you did come with the idea that we're going to open an MMA gym, why did it make sense to put it here in Henderson, Kentucky?
So our head coach, Brad Cummings, he's there from Morganfield. He was running it the previous, 10 to 12 years. After the UFC chose not to re-sign me, he kind of gave it up and wanted to do some different things. So me and Josh took over. We're living in Henderson now. It just made sense to move it up here. Brad never really ran it like a business there in Morganfield. We only always had like a handful of guys who were just really committed and training hard. So we've tried to grow it into something a little bit more up here. And it's going well so far. So I think we're happy with the decision.
For sure. And I mean, if you guys are following them on social media, I mean, you have kids in here that he runs kid classes. He runs classes for guys like Isaac, who's an amateur, still trying to develop to become pro one day. And then you have pro fighters in here as well. So this is something that you could do, if you're this tall, you could be in here, or if you're this tall, you could be in here doing that. So I think that's a huge reason why you're starting to see Mayhem MMA have so much success. But Isaac, since we are on the topic of this place, I know it means a lot to you. You wanted something in life to really strive for and to really, go after. And I feel like you found that now with fighting. So I just wanted to ask you now, having the opportunity to become a fighter and fight at Mayhem MMA, what does that mean to you?
Dude, it's been awesome. I think the biggest part is like the camaraderie we have with the team and the coaches. Like we've all become super close. We're all like brothers, you know what I mean? I think our group chat could be like a CTE before and after study though. We slowly get dumber and dumber every message that gets sent. But no, it's awesome, man. I think it's given us all like a real sense of purpose and something to really strive for in life and to give us a good goal to shoot for.
For sure. And I mean, you weren't even really into fighting before this got established here, right? So this has given you the opportunity to grow into a sport that you love and something that you do daily.
Yeah, I did Taekwondo for a few years. I'd competed in some like karate style tournaments and stuff, but I'd never really done any sort of real fighting. That's what I wanted to do, and then I was just kind of back and forth trying to figure out where to go. And then they opened here, and that just kind of ended up being the perfect spot for me, you know. And then so now I get beat up by Nate every day.
For sure, man. But I mean, guys, like we didn't have anything like this around here before Nate got here and established this spot. I mean, it really is a huge opportunity. I mean, Henderson's not the biggest city in the world, but you know, coming from Morganfield over to here, you know, we're a lot closer to Evansville. There's a little bit more of a demographic to pull from whenever you are in Henderson. So I think it is a great spot for this. But Nate, we haven't seen you since last year in the I guess bare knuckle, we should say now. You did have a fight get canceled earlier this summer. I know that you were, you know, so upset about that. You wanted to get back in there. So this is finally the opportunity to get back in there. So, you know, what does it mean that you do have this bare knuckle fight not only scheduled now and it's booked and it's 2 weeks away, but it's so close to home? What does that mean being so close here?
Yeah, man, I really wanted to be more active. You know, I was asking for a fight for the better part of the year, maybe January, February. So I'm happy that something's finally gotten locked in. You know, I'm not getting no younger, so I'm trying to get these fights in. I'm trying to get to that belt before it's time to call it quits. And, you know, I'm really excited about it. I like the matchup. He's the number 2 guy. I'm fighting at a lower weight class, so that gives me a little bit more drive and, you know, keeps me focused and things like that. So I think it's going to be a really good performance, and I'm excited about it.
For sure, and Nate is on the main card in 2 weeks. We're going to be up in Hammond, Indiana, at the casino, the Horseshoe. That's where this is going to be live there. Bare knuckle fighting has a huge fight going on tonight with Jeremy Stevens and Mike Perry. The sport's just continuing to grow, and especially if you're pulling in guys like Nate to be there. Nate's just been on a tear lately. But Isaac, going back to you, man, you're currently 1-1 right now in your amateur career. You finally got this fight booked. It's a good opportunity to end the year on a high note. You are coming off of a win. So what would it mean for you to end the year on a 2-fight win streak and to really just get things going into gear for 2026?
Dude, it would be awesome. You know, we talked about, like, it was completely different coming in healthy. And I think the nerves are the biggest part. If we can just get Isaac that fights in here into the ring or the cage, it's going to make a huge difference. And I'm super locked in, man. I think now that we got the first win out of the way, I'm going to be fighting like me. So
It helps that he can't come back if he doesn't win.
Oh, you're not allowed to come back in here?
That's what he said after the last one. We sent the video of my guy in the group chat, and I was like, dude, if I lose this, I'm not coming back. I'm killing myself. And he said, I'll do it for you, and we're changing the locks.
For sure, man. Isaac's last opponent, if you did look at him, guys, I mean, Isaac, all he had to do was basically have better cardio than the lad. Isaac just punched him up, was able to get the W. So, you know, hopefully this happens on November 8th, man. I know you've been busting your ass. Nate's been all over you on that, man. So we can't wait to watch you back in there. We will also be going to that too, guys. We do have the Hawk Talk Tour coming up by the end of the year. Not sure what cities we're going to yet, but that is going to be starting in Starlight, Indiana. We're going to go watch Isaac compete for the first time in person. I've unfortunately missed both of his fights so far that he has had, but we'll be there for this one. 3rd time's a charm. You heard it here first, guys. But Nate, you have fought at the highest level that you can in mixed martial arts. You have been in the UFC. You've been in there with some of the biggest names in the sport, guys that we see, you know, on TV on Saturday night still. What advantages do you think that being able to be at the highest level, what do you think that has given you now that you're in bare knuckle and be able to just, I mean, you've just been on a tear, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for experience. You know, being able to fight in front of a big crowd with big pressure, big results, you know, leaning one way or the other. There's not too many guys in there that have, even in entire bare knuckle, especially in my weight classes, 35-25, not too many guys that have been in there with the guys that I've been in there with and been competitive with. So that definitely gives me an edge, I think, if not physically, definitely mentally. And fighting, you could make a pretty good argument that it's more mental than anything. So I'm going there confident, going in there strong, headstrong, and ready to put on a show.
Let's go, man. Love to hear that. And guys, I mean, like I said, we've went to UFC events. You guys have seen it on the channel. We've never been to bare knuckle fighting, so this is so cool that we get to go experience this. And our guy in our hometown is going to be able to be in, you know, basically kind of fighting in his backyard. It is a little bit of a trip. It is near Chicago, but in the fight world, if you're fighting 4 or 5 hours away, I still consider your backyard, at least in my opinion. But we got to get to some fun questions now. Guys, our boy Isaac, he walks out to Last Friday Night by Katy Perry. So, Isaac, we got to ask you about the walkout song. It would be wrong of me to come in here and to not ask you about this. Why is this your walkout song, and why do you love this song, man?
Dude, white girl music is unironically, it's bangers. But it was funny because I was like, well, I should walk out to something really stupid, and then I'll start laughing. It'll kind of kill the nerves. And there's a picture, I'll have to send it to you. You'll have to clip it, of me walking out, and I'm sitting there grinning. They're checking my mouth guard and everything. And Nate and Josh are both standing there with their arms crossed. The entire team is behind me. Everybody's uncomfortable. I ended up walking out to Lincoln Park at the last one, and then they switched our walkout songs. And Josh was immediately like, dude, this would have been the time to walk out to Katy Perry. And this guy's walking out to Katy Perry. But yeah, I just thought it would be a funny way, and then people would remember that, oh my God, this idiot just walked out to Katy Perry and then did some crazy spin kicks and stuff.
For sure, man. I feel like, if you do walk out to something like that, we got UFC 320 tonight. I don't think any of those lads are going to be walking out to a song like that. So if you can go out there and put on a good performance, you do have that kickboxing style, kind of like Stephen Thompson, they'll make people remember you if you walk out to something like that. And I feel like if you do listen to that white girl music, it might relax your nerves a little bit. You come out there to some heavy rock or some rap or something like that, you might just be, a little too tense. But if you walk out to Katy Perry, your nerves have to be chilled out a little bit. So I don't mind it. I think it's funny. I think it's unique. Anytime anybody brings something to the table that's a little bit different in a sport, you got to tip your hat to them. So W walkout song, brother. Appreciate that for sure. But guys, if you've watched any of these interviews, even if they are going to be in person, this is the first in-person interview we've ever done. We're not going to let anybody come on our channel and not ask funny questions. So we do have 5 rapid-fire questions now for Nate and Isaac. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Nate, my first one for you is, what is your favorite thing to teach here at this gym?
Favorite thing to teach? I like to steal all of Isaac's combos and teach those right after he tells them to pretend like it's mine.
Every striking class would be like, all right, guys, we're going to throw this like spinning back kick. And I'm like, this is just blatant plagiarism at this point,
I just came up with this last night.
So you're not only teaching these guys, but you're also bouncing off of some other ideas that maybe somebody like Isaac has. He thinks so. That is awesome.
I'll play along with him.
That's awesome, man. Especially as a coach, if you're able to be coachable when being the coach, I think that's the best relationship you can have, and I think that's why these guys have such a strong connection. So that's awesome to hear that, man. I appreciate the insight on that. Props to you, Isaac. Look at you, man. Look at you becoming a teacher. But Isaac, I know Dustin Poirier is one of your favorite fighters of all time. There's a small list of guys that you do like, but I know he's one of them. So would you rather take a calf kick from Justin Gaethje or take a body shot from Dustin Poirier?
I gotta say body shot, because for whatever reason, and Nate can attest to this, I think I just don't have a liver. Like, I just eat body shots like nothing.
That's hilarious, man. I mean, if you guys have seen it, you follow their social medias, we're going to leave that in the description below. This dude has been eating some body shots lately, so if you're going to look to try to gas Isaac out by going to the body, you're going to have to hit him pretty clean. He's been eating everything. So if I was in your position too, Isaac, I would probably be picking the body shot as well. I'm not touching a Justin Gaethje leg kick. I want to personally be able to walk the next day and not be limping around like, somebody just shot me or something like that. So I guess my next one is Nate, and the guy beside me, he might get a little offended here if depending on what answer you say, but who is your hardest sparring partner in the gym?
Isaac's probably definitely in the top 2. Him and Caden Willoughby are probably, the hardest rounds. Definitely different styles. Caden more boxing related. Isaac a little bit more kicking and in and out movement. But yeah, I would say those 2 guys are probably the hardest striking rounds.
For sure. And Caden's a pro fighter out of here now, right?
He's still an amateur.
Still an amateur. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you brought up his name a few times, so we'll maybe have to get him in here sometime. Once we finally get to the gym, guys. I mean, we're not playing soccer anymore. We got to do something to motivate us. We were talking about it off camera. Maybe you'll see me in here get my ass beat or something like that going forward. Well, who knows with that? But Isaac, we are talking here about the gym. There's obviously been a lot of funny moments. They post you all the time on the social medias. What is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you in training in here?
Oh, God. So the other day, it was pretty funny. It's always when Nate starts watching, I was sitting there and I was going with this guy that's quite a bit better than me at jiu-jitsu, and I had pretty good position. I had him in turtle, and I was like, watch this, I'm about to try some bullshit. I was gonna try to roll over his back and catch him in an arm bar, And instead of doing that, I just like jumped and flopped and gave him my back and ended up getting subbed. They sit there laughing at me. He's like, he said he was gonna try some bullshit.
Hey, you went for it though, man. So you ended up getting caught in a submission
I did,
right there.
Yeah. They did that to me the other day too. He was like, man, I don't really know a whole lot about this submission. I was like, oh, so you're just trying shit? And he said, yeah, watch this. Here comes the bullshit. And I was like, what exactly is he doing? And then all of a sudden it gets like really tight. What did you even do?
I can't remember what it was.
He had some kind of weird like bicep slicer with his calf or something. Something crazy. He was just trying shit. He's like, this guy sucks. We'll just try stuff.
That's so funny. And you know, that's the type of stuff though, like whenever you are training guys, like you have to try stuff that you maybe wouldn't try in the octagon or the ring, whatever promotion you're in, because you know, if you are able to get better here with it, then you can do it out there. But maybe like Isaac right there, maybe you can't do that in a fight because then he actually might get caught. But that's awesome to know that you guys are able to, I guess, just make up your own moves in here sometimes. If you're on some bullshit, you know, you don't know what's going to come out of Mayhem MMA, so don't get caught on the ground with these guys, I guess. So that'd be interesting to see what happens there. But Nate, I just want to ask now, you know, I obviously have a pretty close connection with Isaac. We've known each other for years. But, you know, some MMA fans watching on this that don't know me as well, what is something that MMA fans would be interested to learn about you that you do outside of fighting?
I'm really big into theology. I think that'd be something that's, my dad's actually a pastor for most of my life, and that's something I've been really open to, and a lot of studying and things like that, and just asking the bigger questions in life is something I'm really into, which I post some of that stuff on Facebook from time to time. That would probably be it.
That's awesome. I did not know your dad's a pastor either, man. I guess I have to ask now, because I ask every single fighter that comes on. I mean, you guys watching this, you already know what I'm about to ask now. Nate, like, what does your faith mean to you, like inside and outside the octagon, I guess, man?
I think that's probably the most important thing. I think it really helps us to be grateful and have the opportunity to suffer. I think that means a lot to me. It's something I kind of tell myself as I'm doing the runs and the rounds and things like that. I get to do this because of Jesus and my relationship and faith and things like that. It makes this, when you put it in the grand scheme of things, it makes it so much smaller and so much easier, and it just helps you to be grateful that you get the opportunity to do it.
Alexander Volkanovski said adversity is a privilege, and I think about that a lot.
Yeah, that is a hard line right there. And Nate, we appreciate you sharing your faith on that. I mean, you see it on my chain right now. Anytime I have a fighter that comes on that, believes in God, we have to talk to them about that and see what their message is. So I appreciate the message right there, brother, on that. That was awesome. And, Nate's out here grinding, guys. Like, even if you do get to live this fighter lifestyle where you're not working, full time, it's still a grind. There's still a lot of stuff you have to go through. This dude was running multiple miles around Henderson the other day. He even took a screenshot of his map he had. I think it was like 10 miles or something like that. I mean, like that stuff's hard too. Even if you're at that level where you don't have to work full time and you get to fight, there's still a lot of adversity you have to go through with weight cuts and stuff like that. So that's an awesome message right there, Nate. I really appreciate that, man. That was a dope message. Isaac, you don't have any kids, okay? You don't have any kids, at least that we know of. At least that we know of, right? Like he doesn't have any kids, right? But if you did have a kid, theoretically, what UFC fighter would not be allowed to babysit your kid?
Oh my God, probably Islam, because he'd end up in Dagestan by the time I got back. Sent him 2-3 years to Dagestan.
He'd be a good wrestler though if he took him though, right?
Yeah.
If he was allowed to babysit him?
Honestly, sometimes I wish my parents would have sent me 2-3 years to Dagestan and forgot about me.
Hey, but pretty soon though, guys, it's gonna be sending them to Mayhem MMA 2-3 years, forget it. So that'll become a thing soon though. You guys don't know nothing about that. But I like that answer from you. He does seem like a good guy, but you never know what you're gonna get into with the Russian lads. They just kind of do whatever they want. So you don't know what you're gonna get from them. I like that answer from you, Isaac. Now, Nate, I know you have a bunch of tattoos. I've got tattoos. Our boy Isaac here has tattoos. My question to you is, would you trust Sean Strickland to give you a tattoo?
I wouldn't trust Sean Strickland with anything.
Why do you think that he would not be a good person at giving you a tattoo?
I think he's just a little impulsive. Just whatever popped in his head at that time, I'm just at his mercy, and I don't think anybody wants to be at Sean Strickland's mercy.
that could be a little I guess nerve-wracking right there for sure, because you could tell Sean one thing, hey, I want
wants.
this, and he might do whatever he wants,
Yeah,
whatever is going on in that brain that day. He does seem like an intelligent guy from as far as what he believes in and what he does research about.
Yeah.
He's also a little crazy though, so I wouldn't trust him with it
There's
either.
nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
He just quote me afterwards.
Your anger management classes.
That would maybe be trouble, but you know, I knew we all three had tattoos, so we had to ask that one. I thought it was funny to add him in there as that. But Isaac, you were at the PI in Vegas at the UFC headquarters, I guess, but you're invisible for one day. What is something that you would do?
Who's the women fighters? We're sneaking in the locker room. No, I'm playing.
Oh my gosh, he's going to the women's locker room, guys. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. So is that what you're going to the women's locker room?
I'm telling him I need help with mother's milk and triangle choke defense.
Oh my god. This guy.
Like Ray in here the other night.
Yeah, you're crazy. This lad is crazy, guys. I can't hate on it though, I guess. I can't hate on it. There's no telling. I know that Speed was recently at the PI, and Vanessa Demopoulos submitted him 3 times or something like that.
Yeah.
So I know she's hanging around there. Maybe Isaac will run into her or something like that if that ever happened. That'd be pretty funny to watch that. But Nate, we know that, obviously MMA is your life, but is there a sport that you like outside of MMA more than others?
Yeah, I actually wanted to be a basketball player, but I stopped growing at 5'10". That
I
kinda
hear you.
shuts that down. But yeah, that was always maybe even still. I probably still love basketball more than I do fighting. Just don't have the opportunity to play very much, and couldn't support the family, pay the bills, all that good stuff. But definitely some childhood memories in that.
For sure, and I grew up hooping too, guys. If you really know me, that was my background. Like Nate just said, I literally did not play high school basketball because I knew I was not going to be at least 6 foot. I'm also 5'10", so I knew that wasn't going to pay the bills in life. But basketball is such an awesome sport. Do you have any favorite teams that you follow?
I've moved around a lot as a kid, so I've never really had just a favorite team. Growing up, it was Vince Carter, Kobe, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. Kind of the early 2000s kind of guys. It's a lot harder for me to keep up now with the family and the business and things like that. But that 99 to 2009 was really my prime, just watching and knowing all the rosters and all that good stuff. So I definitely miss it.
Hell yeah, man. I love that. I mean, if you guys, watch me or keep up with me, Kobe's one of my favorite athletes ever. I think he's such an inspiration, even outside of the game of basketball, just on, what it means to have been a good dad and to really bust your ass and not really care about what others think. If you have that mentality, you can go anywhere you want in the world. So that's an awesome answer right there. I love that from you. Basketball is my favorite thing to watch outside of MMA. But guys, we have unfortunately concluded the rapid fire portion of the interview. We always have to ask this as my last question. We'll go ahead and start with Isaac. What's the last message to the fans that are watching this interview to tune in to watch you get the W on November 8th?
I want to say to everybody that your dreams are not out of reach. A lot of times it seems like it, but I saw this thing the other day that said you weren't supposed to make it this far, but here you are. There's a lot of things that have seemed out of reach. It never really seemed like something I would be able to do to get in there and fight and stuff, and it's always seemed out of reach, and now it seems like it's slowly becoming more and more attainable. And I'm sure Nate could probably say the same thing. When he first started, he probably would have never had any hope of thinking he would go to the UFC, and now he went 5-2 at the biggest promotion in the world. Whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve. Whatever you believe is self-evident. If you think you can make it, you can.
Man, what a message right there, guys. Holy crap. We've had probably 50 interviews now. That was definitely one of the stronger final messages. So, Isaac, that just got me pumped, man. Oh, my. I'm ready for November 8th after hearing that. But, Nate, we'll go ahead and close it off with you, man. What's your final message to the fans to tune in October 18th?
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off what he said, showing up every day is half the battle, being consistent. Just some of the little things that you don't always take under consideration. You got to do the work, but you also got to get good rest, sleep at night. Isaac's not going to agree with the nutrition. Take care of your body. It doesn't last forever, man. So enjoy the moments. I think that would be it. Just enjoy every step. Piggybacking off the suffering thing again. It's a blessing to get to suffer, especially for something that you want to do and that you enjoy. A lot of people are working jobs that they absolutely hate, and You know, right. So I would think just you know, being grateful for the opportunities that you have and taking advantage of those opportunities. You can really turn your life around, even if you're from a small town, Morganfield, Henderson, things like that. You can make it happen.
Man, those are two powerful messages, and I appreciate you guys both sharing that with us. Thank you so much for your time today. You know, I think anybody watching this, even if you guys don't, you know, pay attention to MMA or anything like that, you know, listen to what these guys say. You know, they compete in the scariest sport in the world. You can really take a lot of inspiration from both these guys. So make sure you tune in on October 18th to watch him at Bare Knuckle. Make sure you tune in on November 8th to watch Isaac's amateur fight. And next time, we'll see you guys on Hawk Sports. Appreciate these two coming on today. I'm sure there's more content coming soon in the near future. But until next time, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you follow them.